The invasion of Canada is particularly insane because it's our own government that is allowing our country to be overrun, welcoming 8 million people in the past decade and continuing to keep the floodgates open despite the fact that it lowers standards of living for Canadians. It makes our streets rougher. It makes it tougher for Canadians to get by. They know, I don't have to run through all the stats, bringing in this number of immigrants is terrible for middle and lower, for all Canadians, yet our government continues to do it because for Mark Carney, Brookfield Asset Management, the guys at the very top, the guys at the Century Initiative who wants 100 million people in the country by 2100, big business, they don't give a damn as long as it helps their profit margin. What we're also seeing is this red-green alliance between these commies who think that those of us who have been in Canada for centuries, in some cases decades, we are oppressors in some way, so we deserve what's coming to us. Canadians, we are being invaded right now, and it is government-sponsored invasion. If the populace does not stand up and say, no, enough is enough, we will not accept this anymore, this country is going to be gone. That's why I'm setting up Canada First Party, a new political party that focuses on fixing the broken migration system, not allowing anybody else into the country, a total moratorium on migration, at least for the next 2 or 3 years, while at the same time removing our immigration program is so insane that they jig the stats. There are over 3 million people in Canada right now that should not be in the country, so-called temporary immigrants, but they're in here and they're not leaving. In many cases, do you trust our government? Our government cannot get anything right. Our government is a total disaster, and we're trusting them to remove 3 million people. They refuse to spend any money on the border. They refuse to strengthen our border. It's total BS. They're the weakest, most pathetic group of leaders you've ever seen. When they went down to speak with Trump in the White House after the entire election, being like, Trump's so scary, Trump's a fascist, demonizing him, they would protect us. Carney, LeBlanc, Anand, and their entire cadre were laughing like little schoolgirls. And you think they're representing the Canadian people? They're global elitists, WF Davos stooges that could give 2 shits about your regular everyday Canadians. You think they're living in neighborhoods like we live in, where we see the massive impact of mass immigration from totally different cultures to what we have in Canada here? No, absolutely not. Mark Carney would not be seen within a 10-foot pole of any of the neighborhoods that have been so negatively impacted by immigration. And they have the gall, the scumbags have the gall to call you a racist, a xenophobe, if you point anything out about Islamophobe. Sorry that I'm mentioning that you're importing hundreds of thousands of people who treat women like cattle into my country. Couldn't help but notice. It's totally disgusting. And now what they're doing with Bill C8, Bill C9, I had, in addition to my YouTube, I had 27,000 followers on TikTok. They just nuked my account for criticizing immigration policies in Canada. So what the government does is they allow an unprecedented number of immigrants into the country on a per capita basis. Between 2022 and 2024, if Canada were the United States, they would have allowed 26 million people in 3 years alone. If this were the United States, the population of Canada, the United States used to be 14 and a half times the population of Canada. Now it's only 8.5, and that's in under a decade. This is a goddamn disaster. We are being sold down the river every day by our traitorous. It is not an exaggeration to say what's going on with immigration in Canada is traitorous, it's treasonous, it's selling us down the river. Yes, GDP is growing. GDP per capita continues to get smaller and smaller and smaller. They know that everyday Canadian citizens are struggling more and more and more. They know that 70,000 excess Canadians are dying a year because they can't get the healthcare that they need. They do not give a damn. They continue to import extremists who hate our country, hate our culture, because you know what? They hate you. Mark Carney and the Liberal Party of Canada, if you are not a woke ideologue, they hate you. They actively hate you. We have over 3 million. The way that they juke the game with immigration is they say, oh, we're allowing, I think the target was 395,000 people into the country in 2025, which on its own is a ridiculous number. But that's not the real number. They actually allow, in many cases, almost double that, so-called temporary foreign workers, which they don't even have to include in their immigration number. So they'll also allow in 790,000 so-called temporary workers who they say they'll remove from the country. Now there are 3 million people coming up on they should be removing from the country. There's not a shot in hell they're going to do that. They can't even take care of the vast amount of, thanks to their safe supply laws, the vast amount of crack smoking on our streets. They have absolutely no ability to police these hate fests that we've seen, these state-sponsored hate fests that we've seen on our streets for the past 2.5 years. They have no interest in standing up to or doing absolutely anything about them. And you think that the government of Canada is going to have any ability to get rid of the 3 million people that are here, the ridiculous number, the 3 million people here on temporary visas? There's absolutely zero chance. And many of these immigrants is disgusting. If they hear you say anything about immigration, they get in your face and you say, I have grandparents who fought and died for this country. World War I, World War II, immigrants, and they'll say, I built this country. I've been here for 50 years. What the fuck? What, like, how do Canadians put up with this level of junk? We need ICE-style deportations on people who are here illegally. It is too much, way too soon. Canada used to have a reasonable immigration policy. It is now a total and complete joke. The immigration system in Canada is the worst in the world. Think of it. We used to have, under 10 years ago, 14 and a half times larger population in the US. Now it's only 8.5. We had a perfect setup. So many incredible natural resources. Second largest landmass of any country in the world. Ideal setup, only 32 million people. And you know what the government of Canada says? We hate you. We're going to flood the country with third world immigrants. They get free healthcare. I know people who are on disability, legit disability, who are only getting paid, who are only getting like $870 a month. And immigrants are getting $283 a day. Our government literally treats immigrants, people who just arrived here, made no contribution to the country whatsoever, better than they do Canadians who have lived there their entire life. And they have disability, and they have legitimate disabilities. These people hate you. The Liberal Party of Canada hates you. If you are not a woke ideologue, if you're not a friggin' jihadi, the government of Canada judge somebody by their actions, what their policies are actually doing, and there is not a shred of doubt that the policies that the Liberal Party of Canada are currently pursuing are detrimental, more than detrimental, to the vast majority of Canadians. And you know what else is sick? The reason they keep winning elections is because these people vote for them. They bring all these immigrants in, and the immigrants vote Liberal over 90% of the time. Because why not? They're the people that are just saying, carte blanche, come on in. However many of you want to come in, just come on in. It's sick. It's sick what's going on. To have a traitorous government that's actively working against you. Not only is it nearly unprecedented, but now in the West we're seeing it all over the place. We're seeing with Starmer, Macron, Carney. There are all these WF puppet communists. These, I can't say it or I'll get banned, but they are traitors to their country. They're traitors to the proud Canadians who stood up and fought for this country. Stay tuned. Gonna have my party up soon. Sorry, I said it, have the Discord server up yesterday. It's gonna be up today because we need to start getting organized. We need a vote of no confidence. First step is getting rid of these traitors. Second step is figuring out how we're gonna fix this, because this needs to get fixed, and this needs to get fixed now.